Have you guys ever seen those videos about people redrawing their old childhood art and seeing those before and afters? And I do have my tablet, and old art, so how about we try to see if my middle school art can be saved? So you heard her, me, us, whatever. We're gonna be drawing my old childhood art and see if art school is actually worth it. Starting with Jinx, my pirate tiefling. She was a girl who was abandoned out at sea, only to be caught by a rowdy group of pirates who, instead of making her walk the plank, took her in. She was their little pirate princess, where she was spoiled to the nth degree and got everything she ever wanted. Well, anything other than exploring the mainland, as it was quote-unquote too dangerous. Ironic, even been given a whip over a sword for a weapon as to not cause any lethal damage to herself. But as she grew up, she became very tall and very physically intimidating, with glowing red eyes and growing to the height of a 6'4". Now, something about her pirate family is that they aren't very intimidating. So when she grew up the way that she did, and that the captain had been growing in age, let's just say that they used it to their advantage. Pretended as if she was their captain and terrifying local towns in Port Lake. But under all of that intimidating exterior, she is actually very nice. Knowledgeable about sea life, but not much about anything else, especially land life. Being terrified of bunnies in particular, or really anything with fur on it, as she didn't really encounter it often. But once she was at a local port doing some business, essentially just standing there and looking really scary, she would get talking to the main party, who were telling her about their adventures and realize that it could actually help them. It had given her the chance she always wanted and snuck off without realizing what she had really gotten herself into, as it'll be quick, right? As you could possibly guess, she was an old D&D character from the pile of infamous abandoned campaigns. But with the backstory done now, what did I change? The original drawing was done back in 2019 during my early high school days, and I did redraw her once after like a year or two or so, and it did show a lot of improvement, but it did also have a lot of the same problems. One of the big ones being perspective, or lack there was. I wanted to make it look like as if she was kicking the viewer, but it never really gives that idea, and the second time around it's even worse. Then there's her outfit. I feel I could have pushed the pirate theme more, however, I don't think the design is necessarily bad. She has good colors, has an anchor for her tail, has a wave pattern in her corset, and big old boots. So for the update, I decided to stick with the same pose and composition, but push the perspective and lighting with the nighttime feel to make her eyes pop, giving her more bigger and traditional pirate-ish boots. I also gave her a jacket with an updated pattern with gold accents for it, giving the same pattern to the corset to kind of give more of an ocean wave pattern thing. And also a few more accessories, one of which being a golden fishhook earring. I forgot to mention I also changed her face a little bit, because when I was younger, I had a little bit of a big issue giving all my characters more or less the same shape for their faces and bodies in general. So I tried giving her a longer face and sharper features, as she is more on the older side compared to the other character I will redraw. I wanted to stick with the same pose and general vibe of it because I did want to kind of see what I would be able to do, given I hope that I have been improving over the years. It's been like, what, 6? Oh, frick. Years or so. But in this case, I gave her less of kicking the viewer and more like you're looking from below as she is coming down on you. Now I will let the rest speak for itself. Be right back. And here she is, Jinx the Typhon Pirate. And here she is, Jinx the Pirate Tiefling. Time for character number 2. Reveal in 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is someone I've talked about more than once before if you've ever watched my YouTube shorts. However, I've never shown her original drawing. And yeah, it was really early high school, like a few months into freshman year, like real early, and I feel like you can tell. So this character was the original inspiration for this entire video because she is the original yearly redraw childhood art challenge I ever put on myself. So so for this, I just really wanted to see how much I've improved on my own art journey, progress, something or other, whatever you want to call it. And I just really want to try for this one. I hope I can even surprise myself with all of my improvements and whatever, and let's go over the character. Nakria is a tiefling cleric. Wow, I just realized I have a type when deciding races for my characters in D&D. Anyways, she is a devotee of Loki, the god of mischief and chaos. I was really into my Tom Hiddleston Loki phase during this time. However, originally she was just a girl with a father with a rather dangerous job, a work-for-hire mercenary. She lived in a well-guarded city. Her father always made sure that she was safe and provided for, but he did not have a lot of money himself, so a lot of her clothing ended up being old hand-me-downs of his and having her hair cut short as he did not know how to deal with it otherwise. But she didn't really care. And it was just her and her dad, and it was going well until one day where the local knights broke into their home, dragging away her father for the killing of a local nobleman who he did steal from for a job, but had never killed. But it didn't matter. The knights had to forcibly kick Nakria off of his leg before leaving her alone in an eerily quiet house, stealing to get by until one day, after a particularly bigger heist to steal back her father's coat, which had ended up in a nearby pawn shop, a green light appeared before her. Either out of pity or admiration, Loki had appeared to offer his help. She accepted Loki's deal and was now given powers to cause even more mischief and revenge on those who killed her father all of those years ago. She continued to annoy the local knights and causing trouble wherever she went, until one day she stole a muffin from a halfling child before quickly getting tackled by a guy with blonde hair and the insignia of Thor in his armor, being tailed by another group of also interesting individuals. She later joined this group of misfits unwillingly in return for not turning her in and the promise of food, specifically muffins. So Nakria was very special for me. Not only is she my first D&D character, but she's also my first OC in general, made with a group of friends that I'm still very close to this day. Even though the campaign actually never ended up going anywhere and was also exiled to the pile of old abandoned D&D campaigns. Fun. So, going on with the tradition from last year's drawing to switch the very essence of the entire drawing super dramatically, I did the same thing. I completely changed the pose from the original of last year because I wanted to do the same thing again, but still keep the very same vibe as the last year's. I kept the sunset midday lighting and the story of her running away after stealing from somebody with Cheesy at her side, but I wanted a more dynamic pose, so I had her even get closer to the viewer. Other than that, everything else is more of a style change more than anything else, as my improvement has continued to improve, I hope, with getting better at anatomy and general posing and composition. And plus, I wanted to show her full body in this one over just her torso and up. So, ironically enough, as much as I changed a lot, I also didn't change all that much, as most of it, again, is just general improvement. And here's the final results. For both of these drawings, I can really see the improvement after this last year, but also things that can still be improved upon, but that's always a problem for me. I never know when to stop. But hey, I'm still really super happy with what I was able to do with the limited amount of time I had. Especially doing like the little flip of like the before and after kind of thing. It just looks so satisfying. I definitely suggest doing this to your own art because one, it's a lot more easier to see your progress more directly, but like, look at this. Look, it's just so satisfying. Just like the flip, before, after. Like, I genuinely think these are some of the best drawings I've done in a very long time. And I guess paying attention in art classes, like, work? Didn't think that would actually happen? Oh my god, paying attention does something? There was also one more redraw I was going to do, but with the time constraints, I wasn't actually able to include it here. But if you guys ever want to see more of this, subscribe and like and press all those little buttons. I really hate saying this, but hey, let me know if you want to see this ultra secret drawing of mine, or maybe I'll be set free to be able to just push this into like into the other pile the pile next to the pile of the abandoned campaigns. Yeah, there's another pile of the cringy past that I no longer want to be on the internet. But hey, maybe there will be enough people liking this video that I just kind of have to dig it up again and just post it up here or something. But if you did stay till the end, thank you, as I know my schedule is all sorts of crazy and it's about to get even more crazier considering I'm going into my senior year of college. I don't really like thinking about that. I have to be like an adult. I can't just hide behind classes anymore. But for now, bye!